The blue-colored statue was robed with a bald head and bare feet. Hello, Eva.
Signor Stobart.
Please, call me George.
I'd rather not. When are you and your girlfriend leaving?
Actually, she's not my girlfriend.
I don't know what your scam is, Signor. You may have fooled my father, but you don't fool me.
Well, I can sure see where you get your manners from. Tell me about your father.
When my mother died, he brought me up.
As a Gnostic?
He tried to teach me that stuff, said I had a religious vocation. Turns out I didn't. On my 18th birthday, I left home and never went back.
Tell me about Ramon.
Apparently he worked here when he was a boy. A loyal servant, even though the family left and never came back. More fool him.
He's got an interesting line in burps.
You should feel privileged.
Really?
It means he likes you.
Tell me about yourself.
I left home as soon as I could, lived a bit, and now I own a bar in Marseille.
That explains why you know how to use a gun.
No, Signor. I learned how to use a gun so I could get rid of vermin.
Eva was a real charmer. What do you know about La Malediccio?
My father has been obsessed by it all his life. He thinks it's full of secret messages. I think it's a crock of
Sure you do. Nico tells me you don't really know about Gnosticism.
Don't know, don't care. And I don't need saints and gods telling me how to live my life.
I can see why you and your father don't get along. So, you don't know anything about Gnostics?
They're a religious sect. They belong in the past. My father's obsessed with them, and that's all I know.
This is your family, right?
Looks like it.
Eva, meet Trevor. You don't have a problem with him?
No, my bar is full of them.
Do you know anything about this statue?
I've seen a few of them lying around. I guess the fascists smashed them up in the war.
It was an old, weathered sundial. From the dial I could see that the main doors of the house faced north.
What is that?
It's an old statue. I think it might help to code the painting.
I'll take a look. Maybe I can help. This door's locked anyway.
Marquez said that the painting contained clues only a Gnostic could solve. But when it was back in this room, all would become clear. The statues were facing outward, just like in the Marquez photo. I waited with bated breath for something to happen. Nothing. The plinths looked...
Ah, what is this? A staircase. I never knew. We must go up. We don't have much time. Stairs. Always stairs.
Oh my God, look at this.
Georges? Georges! What's this? A piece of burnt paper with the word Wolfram. That sounds familiar.
Wolfram. I curse that name forever.
What do you know about Wolfram, senor?
Wolfram. I spit on the name.
So you have lived here for a long time?
All my life. My father served here before me. In fact, he named me after Senor Xavier's favorite saint, Saint Ramon, patron saint of the falsely accused.
That's nice.
Not really. The Moors put a padlock through his mouth.
Oh, I see. Well, I guess there's a lesson there for all of us. What is Wolfram?
It was a mining company, run by a murdering swine called Gainan. In the Civil War, they backed the fascists. In return, Gainan was given soldiers to do his dirty work. They came here, brought their bloody war to this house, and killed Senor Xavier.
They shot Xavier? Senor Marquez's father?
I was just a boy, but I remember like it was yesterday. Shot him and his friend Hernandez, like animals.
Why did they come here?
They were searching for something, but they brought death with them. But there is one thing I have never understood. Xavier tried to escape through the library. But the library windows are barred. It is a dead end.
This Gainan, who was he?
He was Swiss, a businessman, and a murdering swine.
So what did he want here?
I don't know. When he wasn't torturing the locals, he disappeared to the library. Spent weeks in there, making notes and studying maps. His men, they crossed the whole of Catalonia searching for something.
Did they find it?
Who knows? One day, Gainan just disappeared. He never came back. An accident, perhaps, in the mountains. May his soul rot in hell. The soldiers didn't stay long to search for him. They hated him too.
The name Gainan was familiar. He was the person who had tried to buy La Maledicción. A coincidence? Perhaps.
There is no such thing as coincidence.
So, when the soldiers left, you took back the house?
Yes. A few years later I returned and cleaned the place up. It broke my heart. I locked the library. I could not bear to touch Gainan's papers.
Can I have a look at the library?
No. I have kept it locked to honor the memory of Senor Xavier.
Please, this is important.
I lost the key.
You lost it?
That evening when I locked it up, I drank to the memory of Senor Xavier. The cellars were well stocked, Senora. It was a long night. I hid the key, then forgot where I hid it, so it is lost. That was all that was left in the morning. I haven't touched a drop since.
I needed to find out what Ganon had been working on in that library. Aren't goats cute? I do wonder why George has such an aversion to these noble creatures. Hello, little one. I picked up what looked like an old diary. It was Ramon's. The library will forever be a shrine. No one will enter. I shall hide the key in a safe place, once I've eaten. I have just what I need and know what to do. Oh, beautiful lady, your eyes are so blue. I just can't stop thinking of you. Ramon was quite the budding poet. Our lives are entwined like ivy on a tree. That is what you mean to me. Nice. Hey, I was reading that. The floor of the car was littered with keys from sardine cans. An old pair of shoes. In amongst the rubbish on the car floor was an old brandy bottle. Have you no respect for great art? Pretty indigestible, huh? The wind chime looked like it was made from old cans. I wondered if it was Ramon's handiwork. Despite the scrap components, the wind chime was beautiful. It was uncanny. Despite the scrap components, the wind chime was beautiful. It was uncanny. One old sardine can was bulging slightly. I fished around. There was something in it. And there it was, the key to the library. Ramon had been true to his word. This place was like a shrine. The trunk contained someone's personal possessions, at a guess, Genan's. I wondered what secrets they might hold. The hat looked battered and old. I wondered if it had belonged to the mysterious Genan. The map had interesting markings and scribbles all over it. Georges would be so jealous.
So what is this place, Senor?
It is my family's chapel.
It's not like any chapel I ever saw. Where's the altar, the crucifix, the Christian symbols? And this fresco, what's that?
How extraordinary. It tells a story. It depicts the journey of my ancestors, the Cathars, and their escape from the hilltop fortress of Montsegur with the Tabula Veritatis, from under the very noses of the soldiers of the Albigensian Crusade.
Whoa, wait a minute. Who are the Cathars? And what have they got to do with the tabula?
The Cathars were Gnostics. They lived in the south of France in the 12th century, at peace with the Jews and the Catholics of the Languedoc. They preached that men and women are equal, that God is within you, and that the Church is an obstacle to salvation. The Pope found their core beliefs abhorrent. The Cathars accused him and his Church of corruption. He condemned them as heretics. When the Pope learned that they were the guardians of the Tabula Veritatis, he conspired with the King of France and called for a holy war to wipe them out. The Albigensian Crusade was a callous, ruthless massacre. The final confrontation took place here, at Montsegur in 1244. The Crusaders believed that they had slaughtered all the heretics, but a handful managed to escape with the tabula. They traveled south across the Pyrenees along secret trails. They brought the tabula here to Catalonia to be hidden once more. Sadly, it was not the end of their trials. The Spanish Inquisition saw to that. Nevertheless, for generations, my ancestors continued to guard the secret of the tabula. So, you understand why La Maledizio is important to me. It will lead us to the tabula again, so we can keep it safe from those who wish to abuse its power.
The painting brought us up here, Senor. We need to find out why. The fresco deserved a proper examination. The fresco was surrounded by dusty inscriptions. My Latin was a little rusty, but I could still translate. Ex igne puritas, from fire, purity. Ex luce veritas, from light, truth. Ex labore sapientia, from struggle, knowledge. The mountain fortress of Montsegur burning after its capture by the Crusaders. Knights of the Albigensian Crusade. Cathars being burned at the stake. A town of northern Catalonia. Cathars fleeing across the Pyrenees to escape the slaughter of the Albigensian Crusade. They seem to be carrying something. Cathars, they seem... A town of northern Catalonia. A town of northern Catalonia. It was a candelabrum holding a single candle. It was a large marble statue of an old man with a beard. The statue held aloft a colored glass lens. These statues...
What of them?
They're just like the figures in the painting, and on the fireplace.
Indeed. They are the two pillars of the Gnostic faith in harmony. And the bearded one is Yahweh, Jehovah, God of the physical world. The other is known by many names. Hillel, Ishtar. He is the bearer of light, Luxfere, Lucifer.
Lucifer? So you guys are devil worshippers?
No. When he is in balance with Jehovah, Lucifer is the god of desire and ambition, driving humans to be inquisitive, to discover, to advance. Just as Jehovah, when he is in balance with Lucifer, is the god of order. Jehovah stands for selflessness and altruism. Gnostics worship the harmony of both gods in balance.
But what if one were to rule without the other?
If Jehovah ruled without Lucifer, then individuality would be surrendered. Mankind would be wholly conformist, mindlessly dependent, mere pawns of a controlling power.
And what if Lucifer ruled without Jehovah?
Ambition and desire would be transformed into unbridled greed, and man would lust only for wealth and power. Society would descend into chaos, disorder and war would prevail. Then Lucifer would be the devil indeed.
It was a glass wheel divided into 6 colors, and it looked like it could be rotated. Part of the lens was covered. I removed the small leather cover to reveal a crude crystal lens. Colored light streamed through and shone onto the fresco. The color changed from yellow to green. It was a glass wheel, part of it was an The color changed from yellow to green. The color changed from green to turquoise. The color changed from turquoise to blue. I only had a few matches. Using one now probably wasn't a good idea. Just what this place needed. Bit of mood lighting. If only I had a few scatter cushions.
Amazing. The light is showing the path of the bonzome.
The what?
The sacred trail my ancestors took across the Pyrenees, carrying the Tabula Veritatis, from Montségur across the mountains to this town.
And which town is that?
I don't know. That I cannot answer. But its coat of arms is quite distinctive.
But how does it bring us closer to the tabula?
It tells us the route the tabula took 800 years ago.
I think that's all we're going to find up here.
You're right. We should return to the hall. Eva will be getting worried.
Okay, we found the route of the Bonzom Trail. How does it help us?
It must somehow relate to the painting.
Papa, are you crazy? What are you doing?
I'm fine, don't fuss.
You got me out here to look after you, so let me do it. Ramon is outside keeping watch.
Georges, I'm glad you're safe. What did you find?
There's a secret chapel above the fireplace. But it's not your average everyday chapel. It's a Gnostic chapel. All laid out for worshiping not one god, but two.
What?
I'll tell you when we have more time.
You know, I found some things too, which might connect with all that. Come to the library. Oh, could you bring the painting? I think we're going to need it.